Good afternoon, Facebook. Good afternoon. Welcome back to our Let's Talk Wednesdays. If you've never seen us, welcome. And if you have before, welcome back. My name is Melshani Collins, and I am the CEO and family advocate of the Grace Agency, where we advocate for families that have child welfare cases. We also help fathers to gain paternal rights to their children through legitimation. Before we get started, you all sign up for our dad workshop. Our dad workshop is March 29th at 10:30 a.m. It's where we're going to be talking about all things dads, right? Paternity acknowledgement, putative father registry, legitimation, and birth certificates. Also, because we have received a grant from the state of Georgia, we are covering the filing fees for legitimation. And if you want to do legal consultations with the Atlanta Bar Association, we're also covering those fees as well. You can find that on our business page, which is Giving Respect and Compassion Every Day, or you can find it on my personal page. Don't forget to sign up, you all. And then also, we help to connect families to local community resources through our Let's Talk Wednesdays, which we are doing today. If you need a consultation, give us a call at 678-729-7261. Or if you want to visit our website, it is www.grace-ga.com. You can see a button that says free consultation. Click it, and we will get in contact with you. But without further ado, you all, today we have a great resource, and it is with Hispanic Alliance in Georgia. So I always give a little bit of history. I came across this resource literally just looking up different resources that I can share with the community that I felt like I have never seen before, that offers really great services and resources to the community. And so I came across Hispanic Alliance. So we're going to be interviewing Miss Vanesa Sarazua. You all, I am so excited that she has decided to join us today and talk to you all about Hispanic Alliance. If you have any questions while we are doing the interview, definitely leave them in the comment section. I'm also going to be putting information for where Hispanic Alliance is located and also their phone number if you decide that you do need the resources or you know somebody else that does. But without further ado, welcome Miss Vanessa Sarazua.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Absolutely. And thank you for taking time out of your day because I know that today is a very busy day. So thank you so much, Miss Vanessa.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So just introduce yourself and give a little bit of information about who you are and what you do at Hispanic Alliance.
So I'm Vanessa Sarazua. I'm the founder and executive director of Hispanic Alliance Georgia. I founded Hispanic Alliance 8 years ago. I was working with Hall County Schools with the migrant education program, and I fell in love with all the migratory worker children in Hall County schools and their families. And I saw such a great need in our community that I decided to start Hispanic Alliance for our community and beyond.
Okay, awesome. So we always do a little bit of our research to kind of find out who we're going to be speaking with. So what are some of the key services that Hispanic Alliance offers to the community?
So the one of the largest programs we offer is actually our pantry program or our Despensa program, which is an emergency food box for those families that are living in poverty or don't have enough to feed their families. So we do a culturally appropriate food box. We were one of the first ones to do that and start that before COVID. Actually, is when we started to have the idea that we wanted to serve food to our community in a with dignity and just in a respected way, and give those children food that they would actually want to eat, and give them a meal that they would be able to eat. If they, if you lived in poverty. So we would see, boxes of mac and cheese, no problem if you have mac and cheese, but what if you don't have the butter or the milk to add to the mac and cheese, right? In a box. So we started thinking outside that box and decided, that rice was one of those things we definitely wanted to provide our community with. But that also stems back to my days at Hall County schools and tutoring this little boy who, in his little backpack of love, actually missed just the rice in that bag, just rice. That's when I started to realize how poor really our community was, and the kind of poverty we saw, and how much of a difference a bag of rice made for children in our community.
Awesome, awesome. So, is there any specific criteria that these families have to meet in order to get these food boxes? And then, how often do you give them out?
We see 1,500 families a month for assistance
Wow.
with the emergency food box program. So we do limit the boxes to situations of unemployment, of living in poverty, of single moms with children, of different conditions if they're ill, if they're newly arrived. We have our criteria of that. And if not, it's once a month for anyone else that needs assistance can come and get that box. But it's really for families who are we see are facing emergency food box immediately for their families.
Okay. And is there a form that they have to fill out, or can they just come to your organization and then go from there?
They can just come on in, and we do ask them to bring an ID so that we know who they are when they come and get it, and that we can keep a little more track of them, but also just to know that what else we can further assist them with and connect them with. We have wraparound services, which means that we don't want to just hand over a box of food to them. We really want to connect them to other resources that they can help their families with in this time of need, which includes maybe, a SNAP WIC Medicaid application for their children. It might mean a job application, which we have on our wall that they can fill out. It's further connect them to other agencies. Sometimes we see domestic violence victims come into our offices and don't know where to go and are afraid to go places, and we help them and assist them in those referrals as well.
Oh, awesome. And do they have to live in your specific county where you are?
No, actually, from here, from Gainesville, we serve. Gainesville is the most of our population, but over the phone, we've assisted 9 other counties.
Oh, okay. Awesome. 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 Now, on the website, I did see that another one of your initiatives was the Citizen Immigration Clinics. What is that? Because to me, I have never heard of a backing when it comes to being able to help people move through that process without you having to hire like an immigration attorney for everything. And so give us some information about what that clinic is.
So we partner with local attorneys who want to join us in this endeavor of having people become citizens of this country, and helping them with the application, which is about 20 pages long. It's really hard to really fill
Wow.
that out and not to have any errors on it. So we've worked with local attorneys who want to do that and assist these families for free. And so we've done that in the past. And just the USCIS fee, I mean, is so exuberant and expensive, especially in this economy. It was before this economy, even now more, right? And those applications sometimes change. I mean, we recently had a change to the application as recent of, I think, as of last week. So they change, and any error is usually kicked back, and it's just really hard to become a citizen of this country. It's not as easy as most people think, or try to offer as solutions to our community in
Wow.
solving their issues or status. Yeah.
Okay. And is the full process free?
The full process is free except the USCIS fee.
Oh,
So at least we assist with what would be an attorney fee or a paralegal fee and filling that form out,
mhm.
which can also be costly. Added on to the $795 USCIS fee is the additional fees of attorneys and paralegals.
Okay, got you. And
Yeah.
are there any particular requirements for them to get into that clinic, or is just literally the regular requirements of what you would need to become a citizen?
Yes, just the regular. So we send them a list of things that they need to get together, and it is the exits and entries into this country. It's a lot of details that they have to get together before we can even make an appointment. But yeah, that's one of those programs that's really necessary.
Okay. And what is the average time from start of application to either approval or denial?
That's taking a little bit longer, and it'll take even longer now with that.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. And I did ask you when we were privately speaking, how are the new laws and what's going on with policy and in the government? How is it or how will it affect your clients and them being able to move forward to become citizens?
We expect that those that are residents and those becoming citizens are not really the ones that would have to fear currently. I mean, it's those that are waiting for different changes happening in the immigration system, right? Like the TPS and Venezuelans who entered and thought that they could apply for asylum and they could continue with that process and be guaranteed safety here are now facing some challenges. So also the TPS for other countries has been canceled, or there's just ongoing changes to that. So what we do is we focus on educating our community about knowing their rights when faced with the scary idea of having to have ICE at your door for any given reason, because you're in limbo or haven't filed for asylum or didn't have the money to file for asylum, didn't do it within the year, or um, and things like that. So we educate our community about the know your rights. We try to refer them to those agencies that are helping, but there's a wait list, a long wait list for those agencies as well. So it's really hard to do that. But we do the know your rights, and we help our community to learn a little bit about the ongoing changes and of what's going to happen and happening.
Okay. And some of these know your right sessions, are they like workshops or are they held virtually or do you have to come to the office for those?
We take to social media just like you're taking, and we reach a lot more with just an hour video that people can play at their convenience and learn about um, just what they need to do in those cases. We also have been helping families to prepare and have an emergency plan for their families in case of deportation. So
Mm-hmm.
we are happy to assist them and getting those temporary guardianship papers ready, or assist them with those orders to plan ahead for their children if that's what they choose to do, is leave them here with a relative or someone that they trust, to facilitate that for those families, at least have some peace with regards to their children, or have a plan if that worst case scenario happens.
Oh, awesome, awesome. And so can you tell them where you are located and how they can reach out to you?
Yeah, we're at 2490 Hilton Drive, Suite A in Gainesville, Georgia. They can call us at 678-750-0254. That's our main office.
Okay. And I will also put that information in the comment section, you all, so that you can take that information down for yourself. Um, because it's really important. I've seen so many videos on social media where people are going about their regular day and some random person shows up and tries to take them away with no identification, with no documents or anything. And I would be absolutely terrified and probably combative if they tried to come and take me out of my own home or wherever I am. So this information is really, really important, and I want to make sure it reaches as many as needed, for this information. And then also, I did see on your website that you have ESL services, and I wanted to kind of give a broader perspective about what type of services do you offer under that umbrella.
So the English classes, we've been offering English classes. That was the first program as a founder that I started when I was on the second floor of my first rental unit, and that was the first program we started, was English classes for the community. It's so important to be able to communicate with other people at the supermarket or at work, or just in general. It's so important. It takes about 5 to 7 years for someone to actually learn English, believe
Wow.
it or not. Can you imagine? And so it's a long process of, but we've seen a lot of our community learn the basics. They normally have about level 3 of English, and then they're able to communicate a little bit easier and better. So we offer levels 1, 2, and 3 for those that need to learn English to be able to adapt and to thrive here, to find better paying jobs, to continue their education. It's just so important to learn English.
Okay. And how often are those services offered?
We had to adapt our services to normally our community is working. It's working. So it's very hard for them to come Monday through Friday. So our English classes have always been mostly focused on Saturday mornings. So Saturday mornings we do 9 to 12. We have 60 students that come um, in all 3 levels to learn English. And we've been doing that for the last 6 years. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Now, if there's any type of transportation issues, do you have any virtual services for those that would like to participate?
Not yet, but we're actually considering that, not only because of transportation, but just because of the general, fear that there exists in our community of actually going
Mhm.
out into the street now. Because although they might be not be the specific target of anybody, of ICE looking for them, they might be a bystander in some way. So it's really hard for them to right now under these conditions to go out sometimes for them. So, but we're also considering virtual just because there's moms that have children and they still like to learn English and and just make it more accessible and open for everybody.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And also, I saw on your website that you all offer Triple P Parenting. What is that?
That is a new parenting program that we partnered with the state on because when you see families with such great needs, of course, you want to take immediately care of their immediate needs, right? Their basic needs, the food and the diapers and the formula, and helping them connect to other resources like SNAP and Medicaid. But then you delve a little deeper into, the family and the needs, and you realize that that there are some you know education opportunities to help our community with parenting and to help them with some ideas and with some support as they're raising their children in a new country and a new experience and a different language. And these just seem to be such a great opportunity to assist them. And we were supposed to help 20 parents this whole year. Since it's our first year, just didn't know. We were hoping. And in our first class, we filled up 18 slots of parents that were interested and that weren't referrals from other agencies, but there were parents that wanted to learn about how to best deal with their children in this new country, in this new environment. So we've already met the quota for the year in just one session. So
Wow.
that'll be interesting. I love it. We have a wonderful parent educator, and she is from Colombia, and she has a big heart for these moms who are on. We do that virtual. So there's not the transportation or the leaving your children or the worrying about that. And they're all on camera learning. And it's a session of 6 weeks that we do, plus 2 follow up on how those techniques are working for their families. And so it's very exciting to see how they're putting into practice what they're learning and how that's affecting their children and their children's behaviors and how they're getting better, in the whole family relationship thing. So it makes my heart happy to have started that program this year.
Absolutely. And I think that that is an underrated program because when I worked with the Department of Family and Children Services, one of the things I saw were families that were from either other countries, even sometimes other states, but they were of a different nationality. Um, they were very apprehensive to doing things the way that I guess I don't want to say the American way, but how things are done. And it seemed like it was like non-compliant. But one of the things I had to realize was that they had their own culture, right? They have their own mindset and their own parenting styles within that particular culture. So is it wrong for me to tell them how they should discipline and what they should take away? Because in that particular culture, that might not work, right? That they're not used to that. And so I think that's very important because it is a meshing of ideas and perspectives. And it's not saying that the other nationalities or wherever they, may come from, that they're wrong and we're right. No, they know what's best for their kids in respect to their culture. So now let's learn about their culture and then work with them within that realm. So that is very important.
And there's always room, to adapt and to learn different ideas that work for others, even within the whole culturally and linguistically appropriate, realm. And so I think that that's what really goes on in that space we have, because even within the different countries that people are from, there is sometimes those differences. So it's not
Oh,
just a Latino thing, but even within the Latino thing, Colombia, Argentina, where I'm from, and Mexico, all have different ways of doing things and different cultures when it comes to educating their children and dealing with behaviors. But what I like is that this is a very adaptable approach to teaching just how to best deal with those behaviors and in a manner that's appropriate. I mean, to tell you the truth, we in rural countries sometimes spanking or even beyond that, which would be considered abuse here, is
mm-hmm.
acceptable, right? So it's an education process, it's a learning process to adapt to this new country, and I think that this program is really really awesome for those families that are just kind of struggling. I think those children also struggle. I've had conversations from my days of school and even recently, where children say how hard it was for them to come from their little town in El Salvador, for example, and to come here to a very big school in a new language and didn't have any friends, and couldn't find their way in these big schools to where they needed to go, because I've had students that would go horseback riding to their school when they were in their
Wow.
country, right?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's just such an just a different experience, such a different experience for them, and sometimes longer for some to adapt and to learn. But the good part is that it does happen, that resources out there like the Triple P Parenting and others help these families to adapt and to thrive and to be awesome families that that can handle those problems that arise because of that the different difficulties that they have to deal with, whether it's poverty, whether it's migration, whether it's a language issue, communication issues. I mean, it's just wonderful to see them.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And also, to me, what's important is representation, right? Sometimes you coming from where you've grown up into an unfamiliar territory, you kind of want to speak with somebody that may look like you, talk the same language, kind of understand where you're coming from. Because I don't know how difficult it is to get yourself acclimated to an environment where you don't know the language, necessarily, or the way that things are run here. And so it's so important what your agency is doing. So thank you so much, Miss
I've
Vanessa.
had grown men say to me, I know that I cannot hit my wife here, right? But it's taken, oh yes, and it's taken them
What?
a process, yes, because in their countries it's acceptable. So it's a process of learning and adapting and learning that here the police will be called if you do that, and it's not acceptable in the society. Hmm.
That's amazing because I would never think that that would even be a conversation or a
Right.
thought process. Like, so I can't hit my wife here. Now I got to come up with another way, I guess, to get her to listen or whatever reason you're hitting her for. Wow.
And the psychology behind that, I'm sure, is just incredible, because that's how men feel like men and manhood and all that, fatherhood, manhood, communication, families, all that when it comes to men and from different cultures. So yeah, it is a learning process. It's not a given for a lot of families to learn about living here, and it does take organizations, not only mine, but a lot of them like mine that help these families here. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one last question. What drives you? Like what keeps you in this work? Because I know that as a helping profession, it's not always rainbows and sunshines, and you don't always get a thank you. And you do hear stories that are heartbreaking, and some situations there's not much that you can do. So, what keeps you going?
I do feel very frustrated at times when I see, children. It makes me very sad to see children who come in barefoot, who don't have food, who are excited about donations that I've been given. Granted, they're not expired. We try not to give out expired food here. So, but it's just, like it's just really heartbreaking sometimes to deal with poverty and all of the different aspects and different things that come from that, for families and the lifestyle that we see them lead sometimes because of poverty. Um,
Oh,
but I think one of the things is that kept me going when I've been thinking, why do I continue to do this? And we've had large impact. I mean, in 8 years, we've reached numbers that organizations in the state serving, 20 and 50 years, we've gotten there and surpassed for some agencies. So, and that's just a testimony, not so much of my work, but of the need that there is for organizations to address these things for our suffering families in the state of Georgia. But back when I was first started this, and I didn't know, it's like a river flowing. You just don't know where it's going to take you at the end of it.
right.
Um, but I would just say, as long as I could help one family, just if you made a difference with one person, even, you've made a difference in this world, Vanessa. So just keep going. So keep going. And that's what I would say to myself as I was, going forward and learning. As a founder, it has been a learning experience, and I'm still continuing to learn. Nobody gives you a book that says this is exactly what you have to do, and there is no such a book. I have a vision of what I want for this community, and it's one of equality, of opportunity, of access, of them feeling at peace, of having, the resources they need to grow up happily. So I think it's one person at a time that I try to focus on and helping. Thankfully, I have staff now, and it's not just me doing
Right.
it all. And so it's, we help a lot more people because we are able to do that and to assist them. And one of those things that makes me happy is actually seeing, I've had interns who suffered when they first arrived into Gainesville, and they suffered hunger, and they suffered some of the things that we alleviate now with our services.
Hmm.
And they are attracted to coming to intern here because of those services, because we are what they needed when they were growing up here. So
Wow.
that is actually very, just very motivating for me to feel that, that those young kids that we're helping are always going to remember, Hispanic Alliance, and that we helped them in that time of need, when they first arrived. And it's a temporary help. It's not an ongoing forever thing. It has been. And I think that they'll always remember that at least there was someone that was here for them in their time of need as they grow up.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. I really, really appreciate the conversation that we were able to have today. I feel like you gave a great amount of knowledge about the services that Hispanic Alliance has to offer. If I come across anyone that needs your services, I'm definitely going to direct them to you. But again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Thank you so much for all you do, for those families and those children, and thank you so much for this live. I enjoyed it.
All right. Well, you have a great day.
You too.
All right.
Bye.